What's up, you guys? I'm here with Freeway Ricky Ross. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know you're busy. I know it's all day grind for you, so.
Until I get to where I'm trying to go.
Yeah, right? Same.
I ain't there yet.
I feel the same way. You know, I watch you on Instagram. I know the hustle that you put behind everything, the marijuana business, and we're gonna get into that, but I see the hustle. You know, I'm the same way. No days off.
Yeah, that's the only way to make it.
Yep.
The day you take off is the day of payoff.
Yeah, right? Yep. I don't even know how to turn it off, you know, like you forget how to vacation after a while.
Me too. I mean, you know, I was in the hospital this weekend and I was working from the hospital, you know, my phone's putting stuff together.
Yeah, I extended my trip just to hang out with you for a little bit.
I heard.
I had to. I came here for you. So I got to hang out with your son yesterday. We had tacos and he's a real sweet kid, real humble kid.
Yeah, Jamal's cool.
Sounds just like you too. I could not get over that the whole time.
Not the first time I heard that.
We did an interview with him too. Y'all see that soon. But we know a lot about your story. You know, money and the cocaine. You were the guy, you know. Kingpin. I'm gonna call your son Baby Kingpin. Baby Kingpin.
You gotta earn his stripes.
True. So not yet, Jamal, not yet. But you know, we know a lot of that story, your books and Netflix and your documentary, but there's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot that I'm dying to know from your prison experience. I'm a prison YouTuber. I talk a lot about my time in prison and selling drugs and doing drugs. I was a really bad addict. I'm a prison reform activist, so I'm, you know, pretty deep into that. But as far as you, walk me through what your exact charges were, because you've been to prison not once, but twice, right? So what was the first set of charges?
Same charges. Conspiracy to possess, conspiracy to distribute.
Those conspiracy laws, man, you don't even have to be caught with anything. If you get conspiracy.
It's really better to get caught with something than to not get caught with it, because in the conspiracy, they can estimate and guesstimate how much drugs you would have had or could have had or had before. So
right.
You almost would prefer to get caught with drugs than to be caught in a conspiracy with no drugs.
Because they know if you get caught with a key, then it's a key, you know, and they'll do the time off that. But conspiracy, they could say you
had
sold
100 keys.
Yeah. So I definitely see what you're saying there.
Or you sold 100 keys every day. Or you sold 1 key every day for 2 years. Or you sold 10 keys every day for 2 years. So they'll add those up. So it's almost better to get caught with the drugs than without the drugs.
Right. And the feds win. They have a 98% success rate. You're not
98%.
Yeah, you're not beating the feds. They arrest you.
It's rough. If they come and indict you, I mean, if they pick you up, it's a good chance that you're going to go to do some time.
Yeah. I did state time, you know, and I would see my friends. I have friends that got hit with conspiracy too, and that's just painful, you know, to watch your homies go down for a decade, 2 decades, you know. So when you first went to prison the second time, you had been out of the game for a minute when they got you.
I was out both times I went to jail. I had already quit the first time for 1.5 years. But with the feds, they can go back 7 years. Well, they're not supposed to, but they can, you know, they can petition a judge to give them an extra 2 years. Statute of limitation is supposed to be for 5 years, but if they want to, they can add an extra 2 years to it.
I mean, they can do whatever they want to do, and I don't think a lot of people understand that, you know?
Yeah, and then if you get indicted, there is no statute of limitations. They can wait for 10 years and catch you and charge you with it.
So how old were you when you got sent to prison?
First time I went to prison, I was 28. Second time I went, I was 33, I think, 32.
Okay.
Something like that.
So when you were 32, you got life.
Without the possibility of parole.
Life without. So was that because of the 3 strike laws?
Yeah, I had 2 cases prior to that case, and even though they ran the cases concurrent and I didn't do any more time, they counted it as a strike. Both of them had strikes. So that's how I was able to get my case reversed, because it was one continuous spree instead of continued criminal enterprise. So I was able to get it reduced on those grounds.
Right. Can you talk to me about the first day? Like when you heard life without, What was that like for you to hear that? Did you know it was coming, or was it kind of a surprise?
I was expecting it. It was hard for me to see my mom handle it. My mom didn't take it very well. So that was harder for me than anything else. It's tough to know that, when now you're 35 years old and they're telling that you're never going to be able to touch your kids again, never going to be with a woman again. If your family member, if my mom needed me to come and help her, I couldn't. It was rough. It was a rough situation.
That's almost how old I am now. So I could never imagine that, and I've been to prison, but life without, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. So if they told you now that you would
never kiss my babies again without cops watching me.
Yeah.
Damn. for some cocaine too,
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
And the way I look at it, with cocaine, and people can say what they want to, but, we never put a gun in nobody's head and force them to take it. The people that I sold drugs to chased me down to get it.
Right.
They wanted me to be a drug dealer. They wanted me to be who I became. They taught me how to become who I became. So it's kind of a situation, in the law books they say it's a victimless crime.
Mm-hmm.
In a victimless crime, nobody is going to come in and say, oh, he hit me over the head with a bat, or he shot me with the gun, or though he hit me and took my purse, or he robbed me.
Mm-hmm.
Those are victims. But in cocaine, the drug users are not going to come in and say, oh, he sold me drugs, unless they put him under some type of pressure. But normally,
mm-hmm.
They don't come in and say that he did nothing wrong to me. It's usually a consensual deal.
I think that gets confused when we're talking about, our stories online as drug dealers, because people think that we do have victims because we were giving drugs to people. But the thing is, my phone never turned off. My phone never stopped ringing. I know your phone never stopped ringing, and that's just the game. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
I was also a drug addict, and if I would have overdosed and passed away, I wouldn't want the person that I begged for drugs to go to prison on that. That was on me,
Right.
And I think that's even getting twisted these days, where, the drug dealers are going to prison if someone passes away, which I don't agree with personally. So you had no idea, though, the magnitude and the devastation that would have happened with cocaine and crack later. When you started out, it was new on the scene. It was a party drug.
Yeah, nobody was. Back in the 80s, actors used to put cocaine in their riders. Even Coca-Cola used to have real cocaine in it. So it wasn't like it wasn't accepted. Back then, cocaine was for the elite, the people. And I wanted to be elite. I've always wanted to be elite. I've always wanted to be special, and I felt that getting involved with cocaine would give me that specialness that I always desired, that I always wanted. So, I went for it.
You have that leadership and that entrepreneur in you already, and prison is full of hustlers and entrepreneurs, and I feel like we're not channeling it in the right way, and a lot of people are getting lost to the street and to the hustle. But you could have been good at anything.
Yeah,
anything.
well, pretty much. Yeah, I agree. I used to didn't believe that, because I did so bad in school. I was terrible in school. But I understand now that some people need to be taught in different ways.
Yeah.
You can't teach everybody the same way. But yeah, I feel on an equal playing field that I could compete with my wits against anybody on the planet. If we make it a level playing field, you can't give somebody, a 100-yard head start and want them to win the race. It may not happen. From where I'm at right now, the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. I think our school system is failing entrepreneurs. Period. We're taught how to be good workers in school, not how to run a business.
Really, our school system is failing the people,
mm-hmm.
not just entrepreneurs. But I don't think that the school system is made for people who are innovative, who are go-getters. Most of the time, those people, they want to get a check every Friday, and as an entrepreneur, you may not get a check. I've been home going on 12 years right now, and I still haven't received a check. So
you didn't just figure out through certain people that you were going to be able to get out of prison. It was a process. It was a long process.
Oh yeah.
You know, you had
I've been in prison about 8-9 years before I finally won my appeal. So it was a long, drawn out process.
I was talking to Jamal, your son, yesterday, and he said, you know, my dad would say, I'm coming home, and then 3 years would go by, you know, and he still wasn't home. So that's what it is when you're dealing with prison.
Yeah, and then you can imagine a kid, you know, to them, a year seems like an eternity.
Yeah.
So I could just imagine what he went through, you know, waiting on his dad to come home and hoping, and his dad is telling him that he's coming home, but it's been a year and he still didn't come home, and in 2 years he didn't come home, then 3 years he still ain't home. You know, I can imagine how a kid could start to say, man, this ain't true.
Yeah. You and I share our story online all the time, and I think a missing component to that is we have families, you know, and my family watched me struggle for a long time, and in and out and all of that. So you have a big family and a lot of kids.
I do.
It's hard when you realize, like, I did this for them, but now I'm gone. You know what I mean? And I don't want to speak for you when I say this, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you just want to provide for your family and not struggle. You know, you found a way.
No, absolutely. Well, not just for my family, but for my surrounding community. Our job as human beings is to help everything around us, you know, and that's as well as friends and family and others as well. And that's what I try to do.
You did that. You made millionaires.
Yeah, I made a lot of millionaires.
Mm-hmm. So I read Dark Alliance, is what it's called, with Gary Webb.
Yeah. Can
you talk to me a little bit about Gary and how you all met?
Well, it was crazy because one day I called my lawyer and he was like, "Man, this reporter is asking about you. He wants to come and see you." And my lawyer, he didn't really want to meet with Gary because I was looking at a life sentence and we was getting ready to start trial. And I was like, shit, they're going to give me life anyway. What I got to lose? Before I got out, because I started reading marketing books while I was in prison. You know, I read over 300 books. So I literally turned my cell into a library. Mm-hmm. One of the problems that the guards used to have with me was that I had too many books. You know, they only allow you to have 5 books. And I probably had like 80 or 90 books. I started a book club while I was there. But while I started studying, I found out that you could become an expert on something. Mm-hmm. Where, like, I imagine right now, if you Google crack, my picture probably won't pop up. You know, if you put cocaine in, it may be somebody come up before me, but I'll be somewhere near the top of that list. And that was on purpose. I purposely did that. You know, when you said that you were interviewing everybody because you wanted to build your name up. Yeah. Well, I wanted to build my name up, and I wanted to be known as an expert at something. And what I found out was that there was very few people that knew as much about crack as I did. So I took that and I started to play on that fact. And that's how my name became the way it is now. You know, I had the #1 documentary on Netflix for a year and a half. Been on Joe Rogan, Vlad TV, you know, I don't know how many times on Vlad TV.
Like 25 times. I watched all those interviews.
Vlad loves me.
Yeah.
And he gave me a check too.
Yeah,
Finally,
good.
Vlad gave me a check.
You deserve that.
But what I figured out is that all I have to do is put that same energy that I put into selling drugs into anything that I did, and you know, I would be successful at it. So that's how I did it. That's why I got to where I am today.
Yeah.
It's on my name, even though there's people out there with more followers than me on social media, but it's very few that is known or name has been spoken as many times. I think when they did the LA Magazine article, they said that my name had been searched over 60 million times. Now it's probably 600 million times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It works.
I feel like hustlers just have that in our DNA, you know? Like, yeah.
True hustlers.
Yeah, true hustlers.
Because there's a lot of fake hustlers out there.
Oh, for sure.
That'll take your name and they call that hustling, you know. But no, you're not a hustler. If
you're not the brand, you're not the hustler.
No, hustling is a game, you know, like people talk about, I don't even want to win money from playing the lottery, you know. I don't want to win it from the crap game. You know, I want to hustle and get mine. I want to get mine the old-fashioned way.
You know, like, I used to think I was a hustler because I sold dope, but I lost everything, and then I got it all back. but the wrong way. And then I lost everything, got it all back, and I thought that was the only thing that I could do. When you lose it all and you get it back the right way, that's a peace of mind that very few people understand. Like, the cops can't take my house anymore. You know, they can't take my car, they can't take my phone, and that is priceless. So I might have had more money back in the day, but I get to keep my money now. Like, it's the right avenue. That's a hustler. You lose everything the wrong way, that's expected, you know, but can you push forward and can you get it all legitimately?
Yeah, no doubt.
Can't take my shit now. So you taught yourself how to read in prison too.
I did.
I mean, you didn't just start a book club just because you were bored in prison one day. You had to put a lot of work in to get there, you know? So talk to me about how you learned how to read, because you were 30 something when you learned how to read?
29, something like that.
Okay.
I basically, you know, my partner taught me my ABCs, you know, started me on my ABCs with cue cards, and we just went from there. You know, a couple of weeks I was reading a newspaper, and after that I started reading case law. And
that's where it's at. That's how you figure out, you know, how am I going to get out of here?
Well, it was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was mandatory that I teach myself how to read in order to get myself out of jail. You know, otherwise I would still be sitting in prison right now.
A lot of people just give up in prison, though. You know, if they studied and buckled down and read case law and understood there's loopholes to everything. You know, I've seen a lot of people just not want to even get their hopes up, not to even apply for appeals. Did you see a lot of that in the feds?
Yeah, a lot of guys, they depend on their lawyers, and, you know, once the lawyer said it's over, then it's over. I'm hard-headed, you know, I've always been hard-headed. So even though my lawyer said it was over, my judge said it was over, I didn't believe it. And I just kept pushing away until eventually I found a loophole that eventually set me free.
What was it like walking out of prison after 20 years?
It was amazing, unbelievable. They let us out at 4 a.m. It was pitch black in Texarkana, Texas. Unbelievable, you know. But I knew that when they let me out, that I was getting ready to destroy the game, you know. Anything that I touched, I knew that I was going to be able to annihilate it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And you had all those years to prepare, and you just hit the ground running?
Yeah, you know, when I was sitting in prison, and I was like, wow, I wanted to compete with all the guys on the street. You know, the guys like Bill Gates, the Russell Simmons, the Puff Daddies, the Master P's, and I was like, what can I do from my prison cell that they can't do? And then when that just came in my head, they can't read like you can. So instantly, I started to become smarter than they were, because I knew about so many different things, you know, because I read magazines as well. You know, every magazine that came through, I read them, you know. So with all of this information that I was gathering, allowed me to start to formulate a game plan, you know, that I did right now. And, you know, this game plan now is about to make me probably one of the richest men in the world, if not the richest man in the world.
Well, I can't wait to continue to see your success. I watch all your Instagram collabs and interviews, and I love everything that you're doing. Just to back up a little bit, what would you say is the most positive thing that you went through in prison? Would it be reading and learning how to read and having that focus? Yeah,
learning how to read was definitely something that I was afraid of. You know, most of my life, you know, I thought that I was too dumb to read. So I would say reading was probably one of my biggest accomplishments, even in life, you know, to learn how to read. Because once you don't know something, then it's hard for you to get yourself to believe that you can do it. So reading was definitely one of the biggest accomplishments that I've done.
You played tennis in high school. Is that how you got through high school? Was just being really good at that?
Yeah.
No one pressured you to read?
No, they pretty much helped me. My coaches helped me through class. And, you know, I had learned how to, smooth people.
Yeah.
You know, I learned that at a young age. So, you know, I knew to go in the back of the classroom, put my head on the desk, go to sleep. And the teacher didn't like me, but he did not like me either.
Right.
You know, it's like he don't cause no problem in the classroom. So it was easy for my coach to come in and say, hey, give Rick a C. You know. And the teachers would do it, even though they should have been taking the time to actually teach me how to read and how to function in school. But had they did that, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So everything worked out just the way it was supposed to. So my teacher should have taken the time, I felt, in teaching me how to read and how to function. But everybody's taught differently too. You know, you can't teach everybody the same way.
But not a lot of people can say, I'm self-taught. You know, I'm self-made, I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to read at 28 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so you probably appreciate it so much more because you did it yourself.
Absolutely. And it's great for when I go to schools, you know, just like somebody was like, why you don't ask the president for a pardon? And I was like, I want to keep my conviction. I mean, there are a lot of people with convictions, but there's very few that's going to take their conviction and use it the way I do. You know, my man say, they serve you lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah, it might sound crazy to people that don't understand, like, sharing your story is your brand, and you are your brand.
Oh, absolutely.
So other people might want to be like, just get it expunged, get it pardoned, get that off your record. But you have made all of that you went through, every single negative piece to it, you've turned it around and made it a business.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why they bring me to schools, you know, to talk to bad kids, you know, who were following in my footsteps. And it's just amazing that hip hop picked up my life and started rapping about it. And now, you know, I have 4 people who use my name, and, you know, my name has been mentioned I don't know how many times in somebody's record, or they rap my story or something in that format. So it all just played more into me building my brand and furthering my brand. And that's really, I guess, probably how I was able to land 2 of the boxers I got now. You know, Not Fear Charles, who's on his way here right now. Maybe you get to interview him. We'll see how he feels.
That'd be crazy.
He has a fight this Saturday for a title, and then we have Floyd Schofield, who will be fighting on Telemundo on the 5th of March. So, and both of these guys, they're gonna have, both of them gonna get titles, you know, in 2 different weight classes. So for me, it's like, wow, I'm gonna wind up with titles in 2 different weight classes, almost on my first try, you know.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, just take it, man, and take that same hustle and put it toward everything you do.
You mentioned that rappers say your name, and as they should, because rappers coming up are talking about drug dealing and prison. They're talking about all that stuff. But you were like the OG when it came to that. So I feel like they should say your name.
Yeah.
Any rapper talking about that, talking about cocaine or talking about selling drugs, should mention you.
And they do. A lot of them do. You know, there's some who they take different people's sides and whatever. But, you know, I don't care if they don't mention my name. You don't have to mention my name. You rap my story. The same thing.
Yeah.
You know, because that all comes right back to me. You know, when you rap about what I did, it just keeps coming back. You know, it's like a boomerang. You throw that boomerang out and it just keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. So that's pretty much how my life has been working. You know, as I throw things out, they come back.
So you talk in high schools, colleges. I know 2020 was rough for everyone, so you probably didn't get to go in person.
Yeah, it was rough. I felt it hampered me. This 2020 was going to be like where I killed it.
I felt the same way.
But
that was
2021,
like, nope.
I'm going to kill it. Y'all get ready. You know, my marijuana brands are starting to like blossom right now. You know, like the flower. They starting to blossom. Go check them out. Freeway and LA Kingpin. Both of them. The only way from here is up. So, you know, I'm riding the wave right now. You know, letting it happen.
That's a huge accomplishment in itself, because not a lot of minorities have a marijuana license, and you're a felon on top of that, you know? So that is a huge accomplishment.
I got the brand, and I'm working on 2 dispensaries. I'm also working on my own grow now. I'm going to have my own grow in, I don't know, only in America. Only in America. I don't know why y'all don't like America.
Only in America could you go to prison as a drug dealer and come out and be a legal drug dealer. I don't see marijuana as a drug, but it's ironic, you know.
Well, it was classified. It's still classified as a drug on the feds. Hopefully that'll change this year. You know, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. Come on.
I saw you meet with Kamala Harris.
Yeah. I get around. I meet who I want to meet. You know, I have a saying is that I'm only 2 or 3 phone calls from anybody in the world. So Yeah.
How does that feel to say that?
It feels awesome, you know, to know that you can reach out, you know, and touch people. And, you know, I got over 14,000 numbers in my phone, so.
They let you save that many numbers on your phone?
I'm trying to figure out when they're gonna stop. You know, I'm gonna see how well Apple build the iPhone.
If you figure out how many contacts you can fit, let me know.
I will.
That's awesome. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up this interview with Freeway Ricky Ross. I'm going to leave everything in the description box down below. His merch, his Instagram, his YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that. He has a ton of people that he interviews on Instagram. He puts it over onto YouTube. It's just endless content over there. So make sure you support the brand.
Yes.
You support the OG, the homie.
Go get the book.
You signed your book for me in Chicago.
I did.
I ran you down in Chicago just to beat you. I had to beat you. And I run in there, and that was the first thing you did. You grabbed the book out of my hand and you just signed it real quick. And I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to sign 100,000 books. And then once I do the 100,000 book, everybody who has a signed book can come to this party that I'm gonna throw.
So I can come?
You can come. Keep your book. Don't you give your book away. Don't sell your book on Amazon. That book is worth money. It's gonna get you in. And you know, at this party, I'm gonna probably give away a couple cars, and I'll be giving away all my clothes. And you know, this is gonna be for like the people, because I look at the people who bought my book as the people who supported me.
Yeah.
You know, I paid my rent with those books. I was able to take that money and get into the weed business. So anybody who bought a book from me, or T-shirt, I mean, you probably could walk up with a Real Rick Ross is not a rapper T-shirt and get in as well. If they came up with a Real Rick Ross T-shirt on, and I was standing around by the door, and he's like, they ain't letting him in. I'd be like, man, that's my man. Let him in.
But that's the first shirt. That's the first one you designed, right?
That's the first one, yeah. Well, I didn't design that. A guy named Rick Clark, he designed it. But long story, Joe Rogan. I was on Joe Rogan, and he told me I needed a T-shirt. I was broke, and I had my head down like this. Yeah, well, man, I'm beat down.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan was like, you need a T-shirt, man. And then I was walking down the street, and this guy named Rick walked up to me, and he was like, man, I got a T-shirt idea for you. I was like, oh, no, not another one.
Not another one.
I just left Joe Rogan the other day, and he was talking about a damn T-shirt.
That's how the universe works, though.
It does. But the guy, he heard me on Joe Rogan. He heard Joe tell me I needed a T-shirt. So
okay, he took
said,
that then.
I got the idea for him already. So it was, you know, it worked out. You know, here we are today. So get the book. You can get the book at my website, freewayricky.com. Matter of fact, I'm going to have a sale on the books pretty soon, too. I'm building a new website called Freeway Underground. And when I launch that site, I'll be having a deal on the books. And maybe the T-shirts, too. So
the book is great. It's an easy read. I read it in a day, you know, so make sure you pick that up. It'll give you insight on his childhood, his mom, and everything back from Texas until they moved to California. So if you don't own that book, I don't even know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, and I thought the book should be where people could get to know me as a person, and not look at me as somebody who's way out of space. You know, so often people look at celebrities as if they're from outer space and they can't do what they did. But I want you to know that everything I do, you can do better. I'm gone. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.